Simba the lion carried a heavy burden for such a young lion, as he thought he was responsible for the death of his father. His meerkat, warthog, and other animal friends wanted to help Simba laugh again. "You must put the past behind you," they all told him. "Hakuna Matata." Hakuna Matata means no worries, they told Simba. Soon Simba felt much better as he joined his animal friends. Swimming in the river and enjoying nice long days. As long as Simba did not think about his father's death and the painful memory of his Uncle Scar telling Simba that he was responsible for his father's death. Scar had told Simba to run away. Simba felt like he was always running away. One day, while playing, a beautiful lioness chased Simba's friend the warthog. She wanted to eat him. The warthog was very scared. Simba saved his warthog friend and then realized the lioness was his old best friend from childhood, Nala. Simba had run away from his Pride Land so long ago. Nala and all the lions and all the other animals missed him very much, and she told them they needed Simba to save them from Scar and the hyenas. They were destroying the Pride Lands. "Please come home," asked Nala. "You are our only hope." Simba was not yet ready to return, and he sat and talked to Nala all night, and they kissed and had a private embrace. "You can't change the past. It's all my fault," said Simba as he walked away from Nala. Close by, a wise baboon called out to Simba. "You're Mufasa's son," he reminded Simba. "He lives in you," said the old baboon, and he reminded Simba of that. The baboon led Simba to a pool of water and told him to stare hard at his reflection. Suddenly, the clouds parted and the water changed shape, and Simba saw his father, Mufasa. "Remember who you are," Mufasa said from the stars. "You are my son and the one true king." Simba was afraid of what he knew he must do. The baboon all of a sudden hit Simba with a stick. "Why did you do that? It hurt," asked Simba. "Doesn't matter. It's in the past," said the baboon as he tried to hit Simba again. Simba ducked, avoiding the hit. "See," said the baboon, "the past can hurt, but you can either learn from it or run away." Simba understood this lesson and decided to return to his father's land, to save it from the hyenas and challenge his Uncle Scar. "I must fight for this, or who will?" "We will," answered Nala, the warthog, baboon, and meerkat. "We are with you until the end." They followed Simba to the Pride Lands and fought a big battle with the hyenas. Simba fought his evil Uncle Scar. Scar admitted, "I killed your father, Mufasa." When Simba heard this, a great anger surged through him. Anger for the death of his father. Anger for years of guilt. Anger for the destruction of his home, the Pride Lands. With a great roar, Simba flipped his uncle over the rock. Scar was defeated. Simba roared and finally claimed his rightful place as king. Nala was waiting for him and told all the animals that Simba was now king of the land. As news of Simba's return spread across the vast land, all of the animals once again roamed free. The land began to heal, and Simba and Nala ruled as king and queen. Simba and Nala started their own family and lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, there was a man and his wife that had wanted a baby for so long, but had never had one. One day, the wife gave her husband the awesome news that they had waited so long for. They were going to have a baby. They lived in a house overlooking a big garden full of fresh vegetables and flowers. Sadly, the garden was protected by a high wall with barbed wire on the top. The mighty witch who lived there wanted no one in her garden. Everyone was very scared of the mighty witch. One day, the wife was so hungry for the fresh radishes. She saw them growing in the witch's garden, but she knew she could not have them. Although she really, really wanted them, she thought she might die if she did not have them. Her husband worried so much about her. She told him, "I think I will die unless I can have some of those radishes that grow in the witch's garden." Her husband waited for nightfall so he could climb over the wall to get her some of the witch's radishes. He got her some and climbed back over. She made a big radish salad, and it made her feel so much better. But she knew she wanted more radishes. So her husband snuck over the wall at night to pick more radishes. As he was climbing back over the wall, the witch was standing right below him. "How dare you steal my radishes?" said the witch. "My wife thought she would die if I did not get them for her. I am very sorry." "If this is true," said the witch, "you can have all the radishes you want, on one condition. You must promise to give me your child to raise as my own." The man was so scared he agreed to whatever she said just to get away. When the beautiful child was born, the witch came and took her away, just as she had threatened. She named her Rapunzel, which means radish. Rapunzel grew more and more beautiful every day, and on her 12th birthday, the witch locked her up in a high tower deep in the woods. The tower had no stairs, no door, only a small window. Rapunzel had beautiful long hair that had never been cut, and when the witch wanted to go up to see her, she would cry, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." The witch would climb up her hair to see her. This went on for years. One day, a prince was riding by the tower and heard Rapunzel singing. He looked at the tower but had no idea how to get in, so he left. But he came by the next day and saw the witch crying, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." And he saw the beautiful girl who sang, let down her hair for the witch to climb up to see her. The prince returned at dusk and cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel could not believe it when the young prince appeared, and it was not the witch. They fell in love at first sight. They made a plan for Rapunzel to escape. The witch found this out and cut off Rapunzel's hair and hid her away far from the tower. That night, the witch waited for the prince. He cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." The witch threw out Rapunzel's hair, and he climbed up. To his surprise, it was the witch, not Rapunzel. The witch cursed him. "You will never see again." And with that, he was blind. For some time, he wandered the forest, hoping to hear Rapunzel singing again. And then, one day, he heard her singing. He followed her voice and found her. They hugged and Rapunzel cried. so happy to see him again. One of her tears fell on his face, and a miracle happened. He could see again. "Oh, I am so happy to see you again," said the prince. And then another miracle happened. Rapunzel's beautiful hair grew back, as long and shiny as it had been. The prince took Rapunzel to his kingdom far away from the witch, where they lived happily ever after. A long, long time ago, beyond the Great Wall of China, a tiny dragon named Mushu left his home in search of a young girl named Mulan. Mulan had cut her hair and dressed as a man to take her place in the war against the fierce warrior Huns. Mushu the dragon was supposed to guard and protect Mulan. "Walk like a man, legs apart," advised Mushu as she entered camp. "Punch the guys in the arm, they seem to like that. Call them nicknames and spit a lot." Every time Mulan followed Mushu's advice, Mulan caused more trouble. Soon all the new recruits were fighting. The camp was in total chaos. When Captain Chang arrived, Captain Chang asked Mulan her name. As Mulan tried to disguise her voice as a man, she told Captain Chang her name was Ping. Captain Chang was a strong and skillful leader. Mulan felt inadequate, but she worked hard and used her mind to finally win Captain Chang's respect. All of the soldiers admired Ping's determination and hard work. She inspired them. Not even her best friends knew that Ping was a woman. One day, Captain Chang led his troops to join the Imperial Army. Mulan and her friends sang songs, but sadly, their good cheer ended when they realized the army and their village were in ruins. Captain Chang was extremely upset when he realized his father, the general, had been killed in the battle. Mulan tried to comfort Captain Chang, but the Huns returned. Mulan proved to be a great and courageous soldier. Mulan, with Mushu's help, caused a huge avalanche that buried the enemies. Even though Mulan was wounded in the battle, she was still able to jump on her horse and rescue Captain Chang from the oncoming snow. As Mulan's soldier friends helped Mulan and Captain Chang back to safety, Captain Chang awoke and looked at Mulan with admiration. "From now on, you have my trust," he said, and he thanked her. Mulan's smile soon turned to pain, and as her wound was treated, everyone learned the truth about Ping. They all found out Ping was a woman. At this time in China, Mulan's deception was punishable by death. But Captain Chang spared her. "A life for a life," Captain Chang declared. Feeling rejected, Mulan watched as the troops marched away, leaving her alone with Mushu. With a sad, heavy heart, Mulan confided in her friend Mushu that she just wanted to do things right, so that when she looked in the mirror, she would see someone worthwhile. "But," Mulan said, "I was wrong. I see nothing." Mushu tried to make Mulan feel better and confessed he had set out to make Mulan a hero so he could regain his position as guardian. "At least you risked your life to help people you love. I risked your life to help myself," said Mushu. Mulan hugged the little dragon. How could she be mad at such a friend? This quiet moment was shattered when Mulan realized that a few of the Huns had survived. She raced toward the imperial city to warn Captain Chang. Mulan got there just moments too late, as the emperor had already been taken as a prisoner. Mulan's soldier friends tried so hard to break down the palace door, but without any success. Mulan said she had an idea. Mulan dressed her soldier friends as women. The Huns had no idea they were soldiers, and the soldiers got in and rescued the emperor. But Shan Yu, the Hun leader, fiercely attacked Captain Chang. To protect the captain, Mulan revealed herself to Shan Yu as the soldier who defeated him at the mountain. Shan Yu began to chase Mulan, but the dragon and Mulan had a plan, and they led him to the roof of the palace. Just when he reached the top, Mulan grabbed his sword and pinned his cloak to the roof. Mushu shot a rocket towards him, and Shan Yu disappeared in a blast of fireworks. Mulan was so happy as she realized she was special just as herself. She returned home and presented Shan Yu's sword to her father. He was so grateful. Captain Shang followed Mulan home as he realized his feelings for her had grown. Mulan was so much more than a great fighter. Finally, her heart was full. And Mushu, the little dragon, regained his guardianship, and they all lived happily ever after. A long time ago, Mr. and Mrs. Darling lived in London, England, with their children, Wendy, Michael, John, and their sweet dog, Nana. Wendy was always telling her brothers stories about a magical place called Neverland, where a magical boy named Peter Pan lived. No one ever grew old in Neverland. It was full of mermaids, Indians, fairies, and some wicked pirates, too. One night, as Wendy told her brothers a bedtime tale of Neverland, magically, Peter Pan and a magic fairy appeared. Peter Pan wanted Wendy to come with him back to Neverland and never grow old. She agreed, as long as her two brothers could come too. The magic fairy sprinkled her fairy dust to help them fly. And soon, Peter Pan had taught Wendy, Michael, and John how to fly. Back in Neverland, Captain Hook was searching for Peter Pan. He was going to capture him once and for all. Peter Pan took Wendy to the Mermaid Lagoon, while Michael and John went off exploring with Peter Pan's friends, the Lost Boys. In the meantime, Captain Hook had taken Tiger Lily, Peter Pan's friend, prisoner. The captain demanded that Tiger Lily tell him where Peter Pan's secret hiding place is. Mr. Shmee, Captain Hook's helper, was a bad person, and he helped Captain Hook put Tiger Lily in danger. All of a sudden, Peter Pan flew in and rescued Tiger Lily from Mr. Smee and Captain Hook. He rescued her just in time. Captain Hook had another plan. Mr. Smee would find the magical fairy, and she would help them find Peter Pan's secret hiding spot. Mr. Smee found the fairy, and she was willing to help because she had become jealous of Wendy. And Captain Hook promised to leave Neverland and kidnap Wendy to take her with him. Because of the promise, the fairy showed Mr. Smee and Captain Hook on a map where Peter Pan's secret hideout was. Immediately, Captain Hook said, "Thank you, nice fairy," and then locked her up in a cage. The captain and his crew found the secret hideout and captured everyone but Peter Pan. Captain Hook lowered a bomb into the hideout to blast away Peter Pan. But meanwhile, the fairy had escaped to warn Peter Pan about the bomb. The bomb went off, but Peter Pan and the fairy escaped. But Captain Hook had no idea about that. Happy with his prisoners, Captain Hook loaded them on his ship. He gave them all only two choices. "Become pirates or walk the plank," said Captain Hook. Wendy bravely said, "We will never join you," as she slowly walked onto the plank. She stepped off the end and vanished into thin air without even a splash. Michael and John looked on in fear. All of a sudden, they all heard Peter Pan's voice. He had saved Wendy by catching her before she splashed into the water. A great battle started between Peter Pan and Captain Hook. Peter Pan won the battle and threw Captain Hook overboard. The ship was now Peter Pan's. Peter ordered his crew to sail the ship to London to take Wendy, John, and Michael back home. Peter Pan knew Wendy and her brothers had to return home. Wendy and her brothers were so happy to be returning home to London. The ship reached Mr. and Mrs. Darling's home and dropped off Wendy, Michael, and John. Peter Pan and his friends were not ready to grow up just yet, so they turned the ship around to sail back to Neverland, with Peter Pan and the fairy too. Wendy and her brothers waved goodbye from their window as Peter Pan and his ship sailed out of sight towards Neverland. Wendy knew in her heart she must start to grow up soon. But no matter how old she got, she would never forget her wonderful adventures in Neverland with Peter Pan and all of his amazing friends.